Hello and welcome everybody, it's Matt from Cardboard Odysseys. I've got a quick deck tech situation going on. It's not a real standard deck tech that I'll be doing. We're going to be doing a Commander Raids. Basically it's a box break. You open up a box and you build a deck with everything that's in the deck. You pick your commander and you pick your cards and you get a couple staples like Arcane Signet and Command Tower and Sol Ring. But other than that, it's just whatever you open, and you are allowed multiple copies. If you're not familiar with what Commander Raids is basically a cooperative event or a cooperative format where you're able to go with either yourself or a bunch of friends, and you kind of just roll on. You fight this monster, and it rolls on this table, and it basically dictates what the monster does on each one of its turns. And there's different kinds of modes and whatnot, and it's just a nice cooperative, non-competitive format to play with either new players, or if you just want to kind of lay back and relax and test some decks. You can do it against Commander Raids. I can leave a description down in the little thingy below the description. And then also, if you're interested, we're going to be doing our live play games of these commanders on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This will be members only, but you can join for just $1. Any member can join and watch. And also, if you want to just wait, we'll be releasing the videos, all of the videos, the box breaks, and the actual playing of the games. This will be done roughly a week later. So it's all available, but if you'd like to come and check out Commander Raids and check out what the box break is, it was pretty fun to do. Yeah, come check us out. Saturday Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. So my commander is the Mendicant. Mendicant is a really, really good card here. Boom. So Mendicant is very artifact centric. He's going to be, I'm not going to do every single card, but I just want to give you what the commander is, and then maybe a couple of the highlights of the deck. But yeah, so its power is equal to the number of artifacts you control. So you obviously want to build around artifacts. 2 mana cost in white blue, so very cheap casting cost, which is very nice. And then the toughness is 3, not great on the toughness end, but it also has this new Start Your Engines mechanic. Say what you will about the Start Your Engines thing. I don't really love it, but when you get to max speed, you can cast, whenever you cast a spell, you can pay 1, and if you do, you copy it, an artifact spell. So obviously this commander is very focused around casting as many artifacts as possible, so we're going to do that. So some pretty cool artifacts that I did open. There's one that is fairly similar to the commander itself. This one here. Boom. Guidelight Synergist. It's 4 mana for an 0/4 flyer, but it gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. So this is very similar to the commander. I was kind of hoping I would have got more of these. It is an uncommon, so I only got 1, unfortunately. Because in this format, like I said, you're able to play multiples. But I've got a couple of these Guidelight Optimizers. These ones here are pretty cool. They're mana rocks and creatures as well, and artifacts, so they kind of all fit the same bill. If I don't need the mana, I can just attack with them. 2/1 for 2. Not the best, but we're going to be probably just playing on mostly easy modes, so it shouldn't be too difficult. I did get a couple of Foundry, what are they called? These affinity for these discount for artifacts here. These Voyager Quick Welders. Just makes your artifacts cost 1 less. The cool thing about this is that this basically just pays for the copy effect from your commander. As long as you have one of these out there, you're going to be paying the 1 extra and making copies of every artifact. And then if you have this guy, make a copy of this guy, and everything's going to be discounted even more. So yeah, that's the basic generic, theme of the deck, we'll call it. This is one of the notable cards that I got, Riptide Gearhulk, a very powerful card. 5 mana for a 2/5, double strike with prowess, and then when this creature enters for each opponent, and remember, when this is a cooperative format, so opponent means only the raid boss. That is your only opponent in this game. You get to put 1 target non-land permanent that player controls onto its owner's library, 3rd from the top. Now, the only thing that the raid monster makes is tokens. So this is basically just removal for those tokens. And if you have a way to flicker this, meaning remove from the battlefield, put it back on, or if it dies, then you get it back from the graveyard. However it gets back to that battlefield, you can do the same thing again. You're basically effectively just killing a token. But it is a 2/5 double striker, and it is an artifact, so it's pretty good there. Other than that, the deck itself, it's got a couple of affinity creatures that are decent. Flyers. Now, the raid monster, the only creature it makes does have reach, so flying doesn't really, it doesn't really give you the evasion that you're like normally hoping for in most commander games, where a lot of times nobody really has reach, or not really nobody, but the evasion is less important here because Raid Monster, if it makes a creature, it will have reach. Which, now I'm thinking about it, maybe the tokens that it makes should probably scale based on the difficulty you're playing. Maybe easy mode shouldn't have reach, but you know. It's got one tutor in it. It's got the Transit Mage, one of the new cards from Aether Drift. When it enters, you get to search your library for an artifact with 4 or 5 mana value, put it in your hand. That's pretty nice. There's a couple things it can get, like the Riptide Gearhulk, for instance. So it's not too shabby there. And then it also can get, actually might be, oh yeah, the flyers. Let's see here. What else do we got? We got Voyage Home. This is a very nice draw engine for the deck. Well, just a draw spell, but you draw 3 cards and gain 3 life and has affinity for artifacts. So hopefully this will only ever cost 2. Yeah, drawing 3 cards and gain 3 life is pretty solid in a very limited format. I do have a couple of bounce spells that can take care of the tokens, or if need be, can also save creatures from combat, or like if somebody really needs a commander to stick around and they don't want them to die, or a creature they don't want them to die, or even bouncing my own Riptide Gearhulk to clear another token or whatever, stuff like that. And this is just kind of a nice little, unsummon. Just nice, very versatile. And if I do it on a raid monster, hit one of the monsters that it makes, then it'll just kill it. So it's just a kill spell. Next up is the Spell Pierce. I think I got 2 of these. The raid monster casts, I think it's legendary sorcery spell, non-creature legendary sorcery spells. So this will basically effectively counter it. But in the raid commander raids format, counter spells will be really too strong if, like, the raid monster, without it being a real person, having a real deck and being able to like manage resources and make decisions. The way we've made counter spells is they basically just force a reroll on whenever you reroll on the table. So if they roll something that you don't want, as long as you can counter a non-creature spell or a non-creature legendary sorcery spell, any of the counter spells that work for those types, you're able to make a reroll on the raid monster. So yeah. Got plenty of mana rocks, and we get the Arcane Signet and the Soul Ring. Oh, Repurposing Bay. This was a really nice one to get. This is just basically the the birthing pod for artifacts. So that's pretty cool. A little more expensive with being 2 colorless, but I have enough mana rocks where I'm not too worried about that. I did get a couple vehicles. Oh, and I got a monument. This isn't like super powerful in this deck, but I'm hoping that I have the ability to, it's mainly just in here for artifacts. It being an artifact, I had to pretty much play every artifact I pulled that was decent. I have a couple ways of discarding cards, but this is one of my favorite cards from the Aether Drift set. Very powerful card. Being able to either draw a card, make a treasure, or each opponent loses 3 life. I did get one of, it's like not even like it's just a fairly decent draw engine in the Mindspring Merfolk. It's just 1 mana 1/1, but it has the exhaust ability, another new thing from Aether Drift, where you pay 2 blue and pay X and draw X cards, and then putting the counter on each Merfolk you control won't really matter at all. But being able to just draw X cards at instant speed, pretty dang good. One time because of exhaust, but maybe if I bounce it and I can reset the exhaust, replay it, and try to draw more cards, definitely is a possibility. So honestly, the deck's pretty strong. This card here, one of the things, because I am doing speed so I want to do something with max speed. If I get to max speed with this guy, Vinwix, Verbo's Host, if you would draw a card, you draw 2 cards instead. That's a pretty dang strong effect for only 2 mana. And it already starts your engines as well. So I want to get to max speed as soon as possible, because I've got a bunch of stuff in here that cares about max speed. We've got, what other things out here? I pulled a pretty cool card. I don't think it'll be super powerful in this deck necessarily, but obviously if you ever knew what is that called? Seedborn Muse. This is kind of that, but only one time at the beginning of your end step. So it's not that powerful in this deck because there's not a ton of things that can take advantage of it, but I think it's worth running because it has some synergy. you're not really worrying about blocking in this format because the raid monster doesn't attack. But yeah, it still does helps you maybe hold up counter spell magic or interaction mana, or there's like the, let's see here, what else is there? Yeah, this card right here. If I have a couple mana rocks and I'm able to draw, the milling won't matter on this, but being able to just draw a card maybe every turn, that'd be pretty solid. Or actually, it's just once, so yeah. Like I said, not the best use in this deck, but still fairly strong. And other than that, it's just lands. So the deck is a total of $44.92, which is pretty cool. Very, very budget friendly. And I was thinking about a way to potentially make this like a real deck, but still stay within like the somewhat budget deck, but obviously make it a real commander deck. So let me know if you guys have any ideas of like how we can do it. I was thinking of just budget, like, each person gets maybe $10 or $20 to put towards their budget to make it like a real commander deck. Remove all your duplicates and then make just a standard commander deck. But I like the idea of keeping it under like maybe $50 or something like that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope to see y'all Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after our Cardboard Conversations podcast, and hope to see y'all there.